What's up YouTube, J-Dub here, and today we are doing another video because I'm just anal about getting videos out this year when I can. And today's going to be a simple one, guys. Oil change on a Dodge Neon. I got my buddy Chris out here today. This is his barn. This is his fucking kingdom, so...
It's a mess from hell.
But basically, we're just going to show you what you got to do to change the oil on a second gen, which is technically, I guess, third gen would be included in that Dodge Neon. So let's do it. Probably not going to hear me very well because of the heater. He got a big boy heater. So nice. All right, guys, so we're going to jack up the car. Just pick a spot. What the hell's that? Fucking break. And we're going to use a jack stand. Alright guys, so we're undoing the main drain plug here, which is right there behind the oil pan. Alright, we're just going to let that drain out. Ooh, she had that a little dirt. I am a little over. I'm about 6,000 miles over. Alright, let her drain. Alright guys, now that it's all drained out, we're going to reapply the oil drain bolt plug, whatever you want to call it. You don't want to over tighten this because you don't want to strip it, just enough to give it a good...
I'd say tight is tight.
Yep, give it a good crank, but don't over tighten it. Alright, next is going to be the oil filter, which is going to be located right there. Should be able to take it off by hand. If not, get yourself an oil filter wrench and pry that thing off there. Oh, right in my eye. Nice. Thank you, Snow. Let that drain, and then
Some metal flake in that bitch. There's a whole bunch of metal flake in that bitch.
what's up?
That oil right there.
Oil where?
I'm coming out the oil filter.
Alright guys, so this is the oil that I'm going to be using in the filter. I always use a Mopar filter. I mean, anything other than a Fram probably would work alright. I just like the Mopar. It only costs about $1.20 more than the cheapest filter at Walmart. So I like to just keep with that MO-409. That's the filter size. So it's not a fancy filter. It's not pretty or anything. It's just a standard black Mopar filter. Alright. So make sure you have your seal on there, and we're going to wet the seal and put this back on. And I use Mobil 1 10W30 synthetic. Technically it calls for 5W20, but that oil is like water. I've ran my last Neon with 10W30, so that's what we're going to stick with. I do use the high mileage stuff, but it's fully synthetic, and so far it hasn't failed me. So we'll go ahead and get this in now. Alright guys, we got the car back on all fours, so now we're just going to go ahead and dump the oil in there. This thing uses just a pinch over 4 quarts, so I get the 5-gallon jug because it's just cheaper in the long run, and it gives me a little extra in case I need to, the car decides to use a little oil in the course of an oil change. I change it out every 5,000 miles. People will tell you synthetic, oh, you can go 10,000 miles. Yeah, well, you trust that shit. I'm not going to. My personal opinion, when somebody says that to me, I tell them, go spread that shit on a field that needs it. So...
This oil's cold too.
Yeah. You know, it was sitting in the garage for the last 2 weeks. What's that?
Still gotta go get diesel.
Oh, you gotta go all for the heater?
Yeah, Mr. Thirsty over there.
I don't imagine it makes that BTU being not thirsty.
It's not bad. Normally use about a quarter of a tank.
It's not terrible.
When I'm out here.
All right, guys, once you've got it full and you've checked the dipstick here, which I'm going to do here now. Put your cap back on. Make sure the light goes out, which it did, and that should be good. Let's circulate for a minute.
Low side.
All right, guys, so focus. There it goes. All right, guys, so basically you just want to make sure that that's where it's at right there. So we're going to probably just pump just a smidge more in it so it's full and call it done. All right, guys, so after you do your oil dipstick here, we want to make sure that that our oil level's good. So we're just going to go ahead and do that now. Oh yeah. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yep, that looks good. Happy with that. Okay, good fresh oil, good fresh filter. And then after you're done with that, of course, we want to make sure you reapply your cap. Make sure it's good and tight. Okay? Make sure you clean up any residual oil that might have dripped anywhere. You don't want that burning up or anything. And that's basically all you really got for the oil change, guys. Pretty simple. All right, guys, so that's basically changing your oil in a 2002 Dodge Neon. This method should work between 2000 and 2005 Neons as well. I apologize. Some of the lighting on this was a little bit dicey, and I was probably talking loud a little bit because, unfortunately, we had the torpedo heater going in the garage there. It's pretty cold, you know, so I apologize if this video is not the best quality, but basically what we found was, before we did the oil change, we did kind of a mid-shift inspection on the car. I had been planning on changing out the CV joints on the car, but after we did our inspection, the CV joints seem to be really good. There's no play in them, no cut boots, no leaking grease or anything from the boots, so we're probably just going to let that be what it is for now. But what we are, unfortunately, probably going to have to do, I think the oil leak that we got is coming from two different places. We got a cam sensor gasket that looks like it's leaking pretty bad. I think the valve cover gasket is still leaking. We have that oil pressure sensor that we're going to be changing out because it's leaking. We also have what we think could be a rear main seal. Ugh, that sucks. Okay, so might have to end up doing the rear main seal, which means we got to pull the transmission out, which means that we're going to have to, I'm probably just going to put a clutch in it because I don't think there's ever been a clutch in this car. It doesn't really need a clutch, but I'm in there and I'm just going to buy one if that's the case. So more on that later. We're not 100% sure. My main focus right now is I want to get the suspension done. I want to get the lower control arms, sway bar links. I want to get the rear sway bar installed. The shocks all the way around I want to get changed out. I need to do an inspection on the brakes to see if the brakes need to be changed out, pads and rotors. I'm not 100% sure, so we'll find out on that. And then, of course, anything else. Now, one thing you probably heard me say in the video, I am going to have to replace a rear emergency brake cable because it snapped. So I've only got one e-brake cable doing this right now. Now, a lot of people probably wouldn't change it out because if it was an automatic, you know, put it in park, good to go. But because it's a manual, I highly, highly recommend to people that you change out, keep your emergency brake cable in good working order. So I'm going to go ahead and order that. It was on the passenger side, but I'm going to probably go ahead and just order the driver's side too. So it's all done. I know it's been done, and it's good for another 100,000 miles. You know what I mean? That's just the kind of person that I am. I know it sucks. It's spending money, and I don't like to spend money when I don't have to. But when it comes down to making sure the car is in good working order, I don't mind spending a few extra bucks. So everything else underneath the car looked really, really good. Like I said, just going to have to do some little things to it that possibly a car that was built back in 2002 needs to have done to it. But the oil change went really well. We did find just a few little sparklies in the oil. So there's no noise coming from the engine, so I don't think we got to worry about that. It could be a multitude of things. It's been really cold here, so on a cold startup, negative degree startup, maybe that's the culprit. I don't know, but there's no need for it to freak out about it right now. So we're just going to let the sleeping dog lie. Okay. But I appreciate you guys viewing my video. I've been trying to get more videos up this year, so please, if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. Please give me a thumbs up. That helps me out. And if you, once again, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to leave me a comment. I try to get back to everybody in the comments I can. And until the next video, guys, see ya.